Hi everyone, this is Mr. Lim from SEP Academy, and a great afternoon to you, our viewers. So we are very honored to have with us Russ. Russ, can you do an introduction about yourself and your school?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Rushdi. I'm the co-founder of Reactor School. Reactor School is a startup school, so we help students between the ages of 14 to 24 turn their ideas into projects and their projects into companies.
Right. Yeah. So probably like this ideas development as well as business. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about our students, what's entrepreneurship and why is it different from business?
Sure. So there's always this confusion between what a startup is and what a business is, right? So a business is any entity that is trying to produce some sort of financial profit, right? But a startup is a high-tech enterprise that is designed to grow really fast.
Hmm,
So all startups are businesses, but not all businesses are startups.
I
So if you
see.
look at your tech companies like Grab, Airbnb,
Hmm,
Uber, these are tech companies which are designed to grow really fast. So that's one of the key things that we're looking at when we are building startups.
yeah. So we saw the meteoric rise of Facebook in the last, for example, 2006 to 2007 era, and we also have homegrown startups which are doing pretty well in terms of their popularity and user base, like for example, Carousel. And we also have many exciting startups. So tell us a little bit to our viewers, like how they can benefit from the courses at your school.
Right. So the standard program that we usually do at Reactor is something called Entree Camp. So it's a program that gets a student to turn their idea into a project. So that's the first phase. Right. And in this phase, you need to figure out who your customers are. You need to identify the problem that you want to solve, and then you need to start building something called a minimum viable product or an MVP.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like applied design thinking, where you think about designing a product or solution to solve a problem that your customer is facing. So that's what we do at the early stages, right? So that's something called Entree Camp. And then after the students graduate from that program, we have another long-term program called an incubator program, where we help to prepare them all the way to the point where they're raising external investment funds. Right? So this is an extremely daunting process. It's really hard to do, but it's very rewarding. And you're right, we do have a lot of Singaporean companies that have made it to the world stage. So this includes like Carousel, Shopback, and a whole bunch more. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So now, because previously I was also when I was interning in Beijing in a startup, was on a year exchange. So I understand that like start we have to execute ideas, and many of the startups are tech based. So what if I'm a student but I don't really have like computing background? So can I still sign up for the courses?
Yeah, sure. So the program that we designed is meant for students who have no background or prior, experience in entrepreneurship or business. You can be from any course, you can be from, you can have any interest because it really is the fundamental startup skills that
Mm,
any young co-founder would need to pick up.
yeah.
Right. So what we do over the course of the entire program is that eventually when you guys go to the incubator program in the future, that's where we will teach you how to find co-founders. So for example, how do you find other teammates with complementary skill sets, right? And then how do you put together something called a founders agreement, right? Which is a document that states, okay, who's going to do what in the team, and then who's going to take on what responsibility. So don't worry, you have no prior experience. EntreCamp is designed for students who are completely new to entrepreneurship.
Just to clear the misconception, because I have some students and their parents asking like, will I be able to learn coding at your school? Is it like offered as one of the courses?
No, no. Okay. So coding is not a course that we offer because coding takes many years, right, to pick up. But what we do is that we teach you fundamental skills for you to decide whether you want to pick up coding in future, right? So for example, as part of the course, you need to do something called prototyping, right?
Mm,
Your prototype could be a physical prototype where you build something physical. It could be a digital prototype where you learn how to design the fundamentals of a mobile app or a website. And through discovering these things, you might decide that, hey, I quite like being a designer. Maybe I will continue and I'll be a UI UX designer further down the road. Or you might realize that, hey, I like working with databases, so maybe I might be a backend developer and maybe I want to do computer science in future.
I see. I think this is a very good springboard, especially for students who are at the stage where I want to find what I really want to do as a career, and like I'm trying to think, is this the best course of action? Especially like when we see so many news and applications of UX and their designs helping human interactions every day. So yeah, for our viewers, UX is some one interesting thing like which possibly you might like. Personally, I like it a lot. So, but looking at the commitment wise for students, so probably you can tell us like the duration of the courses.
Right. So the EntreCamp is 2.5 days. Usually we start it on the Friday afternoon and it ends on the Sunday. We're basically asking the student to commit themselves to an entire weekend. And the reason why we're doing this is because it's modeled after the hackathon formats that are done. So these are actual competitions, 54 hours where you build a company over the entire weekend. So we're training the students for, if some of them want to continue taking part in competitions like Angel Hack or Startup Weekend, it's a very similar format. But ours is different because it's facilitated. So there will be facilitators there to help you at each step of the way. And even if you don't have a team, that's perfectly fine, right? Because you will form teams throughout the entire program. And all you need is basically an open mind and an idea that you want to explore, right? So those are the only requirements.
Yeah, that's really great because like I remember at a hackathon competition many years, 10 years ago, 2011 at NUS. And one of the entries was actually Carousel's founding team. And look at that, like, just one weekend of about like 72 hours and of just intensive like coding and just brainstorming for the ideas. And look, 10 years, fast forward, they are a great startup with which is very popular and creating very useful content for both buyers and sellers alike. So who knows? I just want to encourage our students to come for this, like, and it will really help you. So it's like just 3 days with very little commitment. But taking a look at this, so what is like the class? I mean, like the course sizes. How many students would there usually be like so to
Sure.
springboard?
Right. So we don't have a maximum number of students because for every 15 students, there will be one facilitator. But what we do recommend is that every team will have 3 team members. So you will have a hacker, a hipster, and a hustler, right? So the hacker in the team will look after the technical side of the company. The hipster will look at things like design, branding, community building, the softer side of the company. And then your hustler is your rainmaker, looking at things like finance, sales, business, and development. So when the students form a team, we'll help them to explore which of these 3 roles they want to join. And then throughout the entire days, they basically get to wear one of these hats. And then they get to decide after that, is this something that I want to continue doing or I want to continue exploring as a potential career?
Yeah, very useful. Now, taking a step further, so like once some of the students they have a very good idea in mind. For example, like I have this idea for new tech development and probably like live stream combined with social media and stuff, and they want to take it further. How would you advise like this team on the students who are interested to pursue their ideas and develop into a prototype or workable product?
Sure. Right. So usually a hackathon event or the camp that you'll be going for is something called a pre-incubator. It's for them to take the idea to something called a minimum viable product.
Mm-hmm.
For the 10% of the teams that want to continue working on their products, we would recommend them to join an incubator/accelerator. So an incubator accelerator is typically a 100-day program or a 3-month program where they take their minimum viable product to a proof of concept, right? So it has to be something that's workable. That's where they put together an investor pitch deck, and then they pitch to a panel of investors at the end of that entire process. So it's basically very similar to Shark Tank or Dragon's Den. There will be investors there who are looking for teams to invest in. So that's one route for the teams that want to be founders. There is another route. Some teams realize that startups may not really be for them. They don't want to be a founder, but they don't mind being an early employee, right? So that means that maybe you join Airbnb, but you are the 9th employee, right? Or maybe you join Grab, but you are the 40th employee, right? It's still very entrepreneurial. It's still a startup environment, but the role you play is very different, and there's slightly more structure when you join a slightly bigger startup. So most of the time, our students, they're one of 3 options or routes. One of them, some of them will say, "Hey, I really love startups and entrepreneurship. I'm definitely going to pursue this," and then they join an incubator program. Some of them say, "You know what, this is not for me," and that's perfectly fine, right? So they might want to do something a bit more traditional. We don't think that every student should be an entrepreneur, but every student should be entrepreneurial. So regardless of the career that you go, if you have an understanding of UI UX design, you know how to apply design thinking, etc., it's really going to help you in your future career. The last group of students are the ones who say, "Hey, this is really interesting, but entrepreneurship is not for me right now. Maybe I want to look at this 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road." after university, maybe I want to work like 2 or 3 years, and then I'll want to start something of my own. That's another route that we see for our students as well.
I see. Because I know that whether is it like for a longer term or shorter term commitment, it does really help our students to explore the different options where they may be interested in. It's really like a very, very good pathfinding for all our viewers who are interested. And also one more thing is at this stage, because I think some of the viewers may be thinking, hey, what other things do you have? Any like networking sessions where I can meet like-minded peers, or I can meet like mentors, etc. Or maybe like at the stage where they have variable ideas, how they able to benefit. So we're just
Sure.
talking about some of these networking.
Right. So basically, what happens after Entree Camp, students can choose to apply to join something called the Reactor Alumni Network. You will get a chance to meet our students from all over Asia Pacific. So we graduate students in Vietnam, in Indonesia, and Hong Kong, between 5 to 6,000 students every year. Right.
Wow.
So as part of the Reactor Alumni Network, there are mentors that you can call out to. So we do have a pre-selected list of mentors, and these are basically other startup co-founders or investment analysts from venture capital firms. It's designed to help students go all the way to basically pitching their idea. So for us itself, Reactor, we also do invest. We invest an average of around 100,000 Singapore dollars per startup team. We do anything between 60 to 80 investments all over Southeast Asia. And we're hoping, that some of the students that go through this program will eventually decide to continue working on their project and then raise some investment funds to take their ideas to the next level.
Yeah, great. I think this is a very good insight, especially for some of our viewers who are very enterprising and they want to develop this further. And so I guess those are about the questions that I have for a very short discussion on this. Ross, do you have anything that you'd like to add to tell and inform our viewers?
Right. So I just like to encourage, all you students, if you have any interest in entrepreneurship, innovation, business design, to sign up for the Entree Camp. Try it out. You might not know what you might find or discover, right? And you'll only figure it out if you give it a try. So give it a shot, and I hope to see you guys there.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much to our viewers for joining us. Really encourage you to inquire a little bit more. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop us an email or put your comments in the comment box below. And I'll see you guys soon.
All right. Take care, everyone. See you. Bye.
Bye.